everyone. Welcome back to the Millcreek Government Channel. I'm Jessica Stutzman. On our show today, we are featuring an exciting transition taking place between the Erie Area Council of Governments, better known as the COG, and the Erie County Department of Planning and Community Development. Our guests today have a shared mission and vision of providing exceptional programming to all residents and municipalities of Erie County. Joining us today is Jessica Horan-Kunco, the new Director of the Erie County Department of Planning, and Michelle Jagai, the new Executive Director of the Erie Area Council of Governments. Thank you both so much for being here with me today and walking our viewers through this transition.
Thanks, Jessie, for having us.
Thank you for that lovely introduction.
Oh, you're welcome. And we've had you both on the show separately in your previous lives and your former roles, and so now it's nice to hear again about this transition, how this is going to unfold, and really how all the municipalities, all the residents are going to benefit from this, because you both have such a knowledge of government and how to do this successfully and make sure that we have the resources we need moving forward. So thank you guys.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about, so let's move from talking about the COG and then we'll go into the Erie County Department of Planning. So the first thing I want to know about is the Council of Governments. What is the mission and the work and the vision?
Sure, so councils of government were created in PA under the Intergovernmental Cooperation Law of 1972. The passage of this law allows municipalities to do anything together cooperatively that they can do as standalone individual municipalities. And the Erie Area Council of Governments was formed in 1993. It started with 9 municipalities, and we've since grown. We're now at 24, so a lot of growth. The COG leads intergovernmental cooperation throughout the Erie region by providing opportunities to create partnerships across municipal boundaries and allows for multi-municipal solutions and shared programming. These programs allow local government officials to work more efficiently and maximize their budgets, which ultimately improves the lives of all Erie residents and really stretches the taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, and I know Millcreek Township has seen a lot of benefit from being in the COG. I've attended a couple programs that were held by the COG, so I want to thank the organization for really educating us and keeping us connected to each other. And partnerships make everybody stronger in the area. Like, just because you cross one municipality line to another doesn't mean the services need to stop. So I think that's where partnership makes everybody so strong. And then having Jessica here, it's kind of nice because I know that, gosh, you've been with the COG for 7 years and you're making your transition now, but you're still here to support Michelle.
Right. Yeah, it's a great opportunity for me. I served as the executive director of the COG for 7 years. Before that, I had served on Erie City Council, so I was really interested in intergovernmental cooperation even then. And so really the COG really provides that platform for municipalities to work together, to look at their problems, not in a silo, as in this is my problem in Millcreek that I have to fix, but look at each other as a resource to help them to look for best practices, share expertise across municipal boundaries, and look at best practices that help everybody to improve. So, it was a great opportunity for me to be with the COG, and then the county executive back in the summer when he had the opportunity to approach me about planning. I think what he saw is opportunity that I brought to planning department to instill cooperation and collaboration and intergovernmental activities more on a county level, even county to county, not just within the municipal boundary. So I think it makes a good utilization of my skills and experience in the planning department. The planning department, it's new for me. I've had the luxury of co-locating there. The COG does share the planning space, so that has over the years made good partnerships between the county planning staff and the COG. But now at this point, I serve a different role, obviously, to lead that department and help to shape the vision and mission of the planning department. And since I started beginning of July, end of June, beginning of July, I really got to start really visioning for what we want to see going forward for the planning department. Now I'm working on that right now.
Yeah, and since you're in the same space, that probably even helps you with your exit because you were working on a ton of projects.
Right.
And I know how much you care about your work. You don't want to just leave them hanging, or, you know what I mean, like not set Michelle up for success.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's been really nice for me to have Michelle, because Michelle has government experience from when she worked with the COG as a census outreach coordinator, and also she worked in county government in the county executive's office. So she brings knowledge already. She doesn't come in behind the eight ball in terms of knowing what we're doing here at the COG, and she's open to listening and learning from me, from my experience. And so I think we're working very well together to make a smooth transition. The last thing any of us want is for any of the projects or programs of the COG to falter in the transition period. So.
Right, absolutely. So let's talk about some of the work that you oversee as the new director of the planning department.
Yeah, so the Erie County Planning Department, what first thing that I thought it was important for me to define when I took the job is really what the mission is of our organization, and what we're there for. And what we've defined as our mission is that we provide a strategic, coordinated guidance over the growth, planning, and development activities of Erie County with the goal of creating a healthy, prosperous, vibrant community for all our residents. So we're really serve a role in which we're supporting municipalities in essentially visioning what they want to see for themselves, what they want for their communities, what they want for the future of their community. And the planning department's there to assist them in achieving those vision and those goals for their communities. So anything from research and data to visualizing through mapping what their community looks like in terms of where they want to see investment, or what they have currently going in their community. But also we're providing them support around best practices, anything from stormwater to recycling to parks planning, like their road needs, looking at their road needs and opportunities for funding in that way to help with investments in their infrastructure. But secondarily, our vision for our department is that the staff in our department helps the municipalities to collaborate, to seek grants, to look for funding opportunities, to advocate for them. So although the planning department and the COG are two separate entities, we both have the same goals, is to support municipalities and to support good governance and how to help people achieve things that are good for their communities in the best interest of the citizenry and the future of our county.
Yeah, and I think the one thing, like the thread that keeps us all connected, again, being both of your departments, is that elected officials do change over. Right. They either retire, or a new official gets elected, and sometimes they come with knowledge in certain areas of expertise, and then sometimes they're learning, and I feel like they go to you guys for that guidance. I'm new to this position, and I may be great at the business end of things, but I'm going to need help planning, like you said, our roadways, or maintaining them, or working on salt during the snow season. So right. Yeah, that's a learning curve, I'm sure, for a lot of new elected officials. Yeah. So
and the COG is facilitating, and Michelle talked about workshops.
Yeah.
For to help continue to inform municipal leadership about things they don't know.
Yeah. So Michelle, what's your vision?
So I would be remiss not to give Jessica credit. She has, grown the COG tremendously during her tenure there. And so I would like to continue that growth. The more members we have participating in the COG, the better it is. As you kind of mentioned, we want to kind of break down those borders, and the more participation we have, the more input we have, the stronger the COG can be. So I would like to continue that momentum that Jessica has really instilled, and she did so by providing some robust programming. And one of those programs that I feel really benefit our members is the joint bidding. And so including more non-government organizations that can benefit from that program would really benefit our whole region. I would like to offer more training opportunities. The training opportunities offered by the COG are really beneficial to our municipal leaders. Just last night, we had a utility scale solar training that we presented, that municipal leaders could come and learn the language needed for ordinances as the solar farms potentially move into our region. So offering that timely information to them at a local level at a reduced cost is of a huge benefit to COG members and non-members who are also invited to participate. They're just invited to participate at a little bit higher of a rate. And you know, as far as the joint bidding, we saw through COVID how quickly pricing can change. So our member municipalities have really benefited from locking in those bulk rate discounts for an entire year and being able to count on those prices and not have those huge increases that have affected municipal budgets. So, you know, to continue to provide those services in a more robust way is really my vision for the COG.
I love that. And did you both see some growth in the COG membership then following COVID, like having people want to get together to join that you know, pricing structure? Because when you get more people together, it makes it a more financially sustainable bid package.
Yeah.
Right. So Jessica, you know, has a story. She was overseeing the COG at that time, and she could probably speak more to this. But there is a story where one of a local municipality went out to price pipe, and found it to be very, very expensive. I think it was 3 times the amount of cost that the COG
members were paying for the same product.
Yeah.
Right. So that municipality then saw the benefit in joining the COG and did so. So yes, I mean, there definitely is a financial benefit for our members.
And then the other thing, I know that you can benefit from being a member of the COG, again, sharing expertise. You know, if one municipality is really good at doing something, whether it's, you know, I mean, again, the Millcreek Compost Center is an example of a municipal collaboration between Millcreek and Fairview and West County, but just, you know, other services that can be exchanged.
Right.
So maybe, you know, there's a lack of safety services in one area, but then they have an expertise in a different area. It doesn't always have to be apples to apples. You can exchange apples and oranges.
That's right.
You know, so everybody benefits.
Right.
That's right. And even the COG meetings themselves provide a nice forum to share and exchange those ideas across borders and invites different municipalities together where maybe normally townships and boroughs and cities don't come. Exactly. You know, there's not good communication lines. The COG meetings really provide a forum for that.
How often are those meetings?
They're 9 times a year the COG delegates meet.
Wonderful.
So.
Okay, great. And then, Jessica, what are your visions and your priorities for the future too?
Well, you know, the planning department has a lot of great programs, and we want to continue to advance those programs. Like one of the nice things you can get from the planning department for our municipal leadership is comprehensive planning. So we have a specialist in our office that does municipal assistance, and he helps the communities to the leaders to sit down and create those comprehensive plans for their visions for their future. He helps them to look at issues that they're having, look at how they want to achieve those, both through zoning, through ordinances, through land development, but also just looking at holistically what's going on in their community and looking for best practices to improve those. So that's an important program. We also have, in our office, we have the opportunity to look at funding and look at opportunities to invest those in our communities. So we run a community development block grant program through our office. That's federal dollars that come through the planning department to support low to moderate income population groups, to provide them some investment, either infrastructure, either if it's sidewalk, roads, parks, curb cuts, water, sewer, those type of things. So we have that opportunity in our department. We also have things like GIS support. So we talked about the mapping. We have a data center, so that's a research arm of the county. So a lot of municipalities may have a desire to go for a grant, but they need statistical data to support that grant application. We can provide that. So, you know, really my goal is to continue to advance the existing programs, but to provide more as municipal support. One of the things that I did when I was at the COG and transitioned well into the planning department is, you know, with COVID, there's been grant opportunities that never existed before COVID. Mm-hmm. So under the CARES Act, which came about in 2020, there was dollars that the county could grant out to municipalities, and the COG took the lead on ensuring that our municipal members were aware of those opportunities and took advantage of those dollars. Now, as the county county planning director, there's additional dollars that the county has at its disposal under ARPA, and I'm trying to take a lead role in making sure all our municipalities take advantage of those opportunities. And part of it is planning for what your community's needs are in advance of asking for dollars, but what do you need them for? How are they going to be wisely invested? So the county role, I think, that I play is to continue to outreach to municipalities, to continue to support them in a broader way, and have some programs behind it that can help to support them, make them, provide opportunities for them and do the best they can. And we're here to support them at county planning.
Wow. And so to do all of that, how many employees are there of the COG, and then how many are
A whole lot.
employees?
There's a lot of COG employees. No, this is the COG employee.
Just one COG employee that wears many hats, yes.
Wears many hats. And
That's
how
right.
many people are employed under the planning department?
There are, currently there are 11 folks in the county planning department. We do have a couple of vacancies, and we're looking to hire a couple new folks to help us both with our existing GIS and also into our parks. The county took the lead on a parks plan. Although the county doesn't own any parks, we went through a consultant to really vision how the parks throughout Erie County could work together, shared programming, looking for opportunities to be able to expand and grow and invest in parks throughout the county. So we're looking to have a parks planner on staff in the coming year. We also have some other support programs like stormwater that we want to be able to provide some staff assistance to municipalities. So I think at full complement, we're about 13 to 15 staff at planning, but we are very efficient and we work very hard, and we're really doing a great job with what we have there in the department.
Absolutely. And I know that, while your staff may be small, you work with outside consultants as well to help, get that job done sometimes.
Right. Yeah, and that's important, that we use experts when we need to, and we're not afraid, to bring those folks in to help us make the best decisions.
Absolutely. Okay, so you've already named a couple specific programs. Is there anything else, any other programs coming up in the near future that you guys want to touch on?
Well, I think a big thing for the COG is to also mention we offer grant writing assistance to municipalities, which can be really important, especially to smaller municipalities who may not have the staff to administer and write out a grant. And very recently, the Cranesville Fire Department, volunteer fire department, benefited from that, and they were awarded a grant through the USDA, which will help them make some necessary improvements to their I'm losing my
Firehouse?
Their firehouse, thank you. And they weren't able to warm up their vehicles because the building, the siding on the building was coming down, the heating system wasn't working properly, so this grant was very, very essential for them to continue to provide services in that area. So that's one of the things that the COG does. In addition, we also, through a grant that the COG has had, provides IT support, website and social media development. Again, I talked about the workshops and the joint bidding, but in addition to that, the COG has also assisted with developing the promotion of the Greater Erie Trail Network, which allows community members to access information about recreational trails throughout Erie County. And the COG is also a participant of the Fire and EMS Recruitment and Retention Committee, which Jessica has really taken a lot of charge with, and I can let her speak a little bit about that too.
Yeah, some time ago, we identified at the county level that there was a need to address a crisis coming down the road with volunteer fire and EMS in general. And so for the last several years, I've chaired a committee that's really looking closely at those issues facing fire and EMS and looking for regional solutions. And this new role for me, it continues to be important in that role to help with our fire and EMS communities, because we know that at the municipal level, we're charged with ensuring that there's fire and EMS for our residents, but how do we do that by ourselves? And between understanding the role of the municipality from the COG and looking at the county as a support mechanism for them, we can collaborate to ensure that we have the highest quality of EMS and fire for all the residents of Erie County. So we continue a collaboration between the county and the COG to help to find those best practices, implement ideas. And regionally, we've looked at a couple of different areas of Erie County that make sense and what the municipalities are willing to partner with each other to tackle fire and EMS together. We have underway a great success in Cranesville, Albion, Millcreek and Township, where 4 municipalities have joined together an emergency service commission, and together they're visioning what they want for fire and EMS, and they're working in conjunction with each other to define that and set the expectations and to ensure that that emergency service will be provided to the residents. So it's been a great example of intergovernmental cooperation, and I continue to try to foster that. And so we'll continue to try to look at, the planning department will continue to try to look at where you find a problem that crosses out throughout our county, and look for regional solutions and the plans that are needed to make those, to implement and to create those solutions. You can't just solve something without a plan on how to solve it. So that's kind of where I come into the planning side of things, is planning for what we need to do to improve service delivery.
Right, and so with that, I mean, I think, we went to a lot of the Embrace Millcreek meetings with the community and with the public, and the one thing that I heard over and over was that the most important thing for me is the safety, police and fire and EMS, we can't forget them. And so traditionally, and correct me if I'm wrong, traditionally fire departments have been staffed by volunteers.
Correct.
And then like the breakdown here is that there's not as many volunteers.
Right.
And so then when, a fire or an emergency happens, we don't have as many volunteers or resources to pull from them. Is that right?
Right.
Okay.
You can, today, not just in Erie County or in Pennsylvania, but throughout the United States, there's a decline in volunteers in fire and EMS. And today we can't continue to rely on the past model for providing fire and EMS through volunteers. We need to look at hybrid solutions. We need to look at paying folks to provide these services that are essential, and how we pay for that. And also, we came from a model where there was a firehouse on every corner. We can't staff that today because there aren't the folks that can leave their workplace necessarily and fight fires like there used to be. They're not able to move away from their workplace. And today's culture isn't the same as it used to be. People have, both mother and father are working now, and there's kids involved with a lot of activities, so they can't necessarily break away and commit their time to volunteer. So how do we ensure that everyone has emergency response when they need it? We need to evolve our thinking into how we provide that, and we need to work together. We don't necessarily need to have every firehouse staffed fully, but we need to find out how many staff we need to ensure that a region of our county is covered in a collective way, so that somebody is there as quickly as possible when we need them. So the committee's done a lot of research and done a lot of changes in policies, and working with Erie County Department of Public Safety to make the best solutions to improve emergency response, and we'll continue to do that until we're sure that every part of Erie County has the highest quality of emergency responses we can give them, and that's what we continue to do. Absolutely,
and it's such a dangerous job.
It
I mean,
is.
I just want to thank everybody who does that voluntarily,
Yes.
or
Right.
through, a paycheck.
Yes.
You're putting the life on the line to save, our families, our friends, and our community. So I just
That's
want to
right.
thank everybody who is in that
Absolutely.
field. So are there any other projects that the COG and the Planning Department will be collaborating on together?
Yes, so we're very, very excited to share information that we'll be doing a broadband feasibility study. So with grants provided by the Appalachian Regional Commission, ACRA, and some additional funding from the county, a contractor will be hired to develop a study that will identify the gaps in broadband infrastructure throughout Erie County. COVID really highlighted those gaps for us. We know they exist. We just need to find out exactly where and what providers can fill those gaps. And having that study done and having that information will then allow us to go out and secure the money needed from the state. It'll come through federal government to the state, and the county will be able to secure that money to actually build up that infrastructure we need to ensure that we have a strong broadband throughout Erie County for all our residents.
And Jessica, can you touch on why that is so essential for our community?
I mean, it's really a priority for the county because we know that through COVID, we know that kids were not able to access their online learning. They were using hotspots from the school, or they were sitting in the school parking lot, and we want to make sure that the underserved areas and the unserved area for broadband are covered. And the partnership that exists between the COG and the county on that is that we have a GIS department at planning, and so as the COG contracts with a contractor to identify where the broadband gaps are, we'll be able to map that and look at the infrastructure needs and help to formulate a plan, a comprehensive plan with mapping tools to help deploy that broadband infrastructure throughout Erie County. This takes the burden off the municipal leadership. It doesn't have that expertise to be able to do that at the municipal level. That if we can provide it at the county level, and then we can act as a catalyst for them to get funding throughout Erie County to help improve that broadband service to our residents. And it's just so essential today for us to help our residents to be able to get on that high-speed internet, and that's what we'll do together to make that happen.
It absolutely does. Yeah, for children trying to learn and get their lessons, and for people trying to now work from home, because that's a big thing is remote teleworking.
Right.
So I thank you guys for working on that project. What I want to do next, because we are almost our time is almost done here, just share your information so that our viewers can get in touch with you if they have any other questions.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm Jessica Horan-Kunco, the County Planning Director. You can reach me at 814-451-7328. So if anyone wants to give me a call, and I'll be happy to facilitate any assistance that they might need through the Planning Department.
Thank you. And Michelle?
And again, I'm Michelle Jagai, Executive Director of the Erie Council of Governments, and my number is 814-454-1770.
Well, thank you both so much for being here, walking us through this transition. I feel really good about the future and working with both organizations, and I appreciate the collaboration and everything you guys are doing for the community.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Viewers, I'm so glad that you tuned in today. We learned a lot about the Erie Area Council of Governments, the COG, and the Erie County Department of Planning and Community Development. So again, they are collaborating together, we're moving forward, and we're getting residents things that they need. Safety and fire and EMS protection and broadband feasibility studies. These are things that really take our community to the next level and ensure that everybody moving forward has everything that they need to live their best life. So I want to thank you for tuning in to today's show, and until next time, have a great day.